Good Sunday morning. It's Angela Jones with another brighter day in the neighborhood, and our guest today is photographer Mandy Penn. She's founded Mandy Penn Photography here in town, and I think some of my listeners might be familiar with her from the beautiful photographs that she took that are posted on my website. But we wanted to give her a real warm welcome today to Mandy.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm super excited.
Yeah, no, we're really glad you could find the time. I know this is a super busy season for photography for kids, being that everyone's out of school.
Yes, and the greenery is gorgeous right now in Colorado. It's just all the rain and everything is so green. It's so nice. So.
Well, and it's really, I mean, I think summer is the very best time of year in the springs.
It is.
In Colorado, probably.
Yeah, and a lot of people here and want to do like fall photos, but Colorado's fall is so like 1 or 2 weeks that I love when people do summer sessions because it is so green and not everything is dead yet, and it's gorgeous.
Right,
so
right.
We live in a beautiful place.
So where are your favorite? I mean, I know a lot of the like the Garden of the Gods, Kissing Camel's Overlook. I think it's Mesa Ridge Overlook or something like that. I know that all those super highlights. But where are your favorite places to take pictures in the summer here?
Yeah, so the summer here, because it's so green, I like there's Monument Valley Park, which everyone's like, oh, that's up in Monument, but it's not. It's actually by CC College, so Colorado College, down off of Uinta and like Glen. There's like a pond, and then there's a super cute little garden. I actually did a family session there the other day, and the pictures are gorgeous because it's so green and there's flowers everywhere, and so that's like my top place that I love to take people, and it's not overran like Garden of the Gods. I mean, I love Garden of the Gods. It's very beautiful. They have, gorgeous, you can get gorgeous pictures there, but I like the places where you're not fighting for the best spot, you know what I mean? And Monument Valley Park's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think one of my son Will used to, when he played soccer, I think they would do some soccer practices down there with Rush. Do you ever have like soccer kids in the background?
Yeah, there's soccer, and there's like a bunch of tennis courts, and I've done a few seniors down there because there's this really cool the bridge over I-25 right past Uinta. There's like a bridge, and it makes for some super cool shots.
Right.
So.
Well, it's interesting. Like the other day, I got sort of stuck downtown, and you're talking about all the rain. Well, we've also gotten a lot of thunderstorms recently, and so I'm doing this program where I do 2 exercise sessions a day, at least 45 minutes, but one has to be outside. And I didn't get up and go out, first thing in the morning, so I found myself, it was, right near the end of the business day, big thunderstorms coming in, and so I had to go out, downtown, and otherwise I would be walking in lightning, or I have to restart my
75 days, right?
Exactly, 75 hard.
75 hard, yep, I know that.
And I'm on day 17, and there will be no restarting.
Yeah,
that's already.
Nope, you've already made it past the hump. So
I have made it.
Yep, that's awesome.
Well, September 4th is my 75th day. My next birthday is September 7th. My husband gets back from Iraq September 6th. So if I mess up now,
you have to make it those 75 days.
I have
great.
to.
17 is great.
So, but this all ties into what you're talking about, like Colorado College in that area down there. Is I was like, okay, I went rummaging around at the law firm, like in the basement, like I found some shoes and a sweatshirt and whatever, and went out. But I walked on the Colorado College campus. And it's incredible. It's incredibly beautiful. I can't believe it's been like in my front yard basically.
Yeah, because it's only a few blocks away from your office.
Exactly. I mean, we're on Weber, which skirts the campus. But
it's beautiful over there.
It is unbelievable. So I think that's a really good tip. We'll have to trek over there.
Yes.
Have to trek over. I may walk over there today.
Right. You should. Yes. Yeah. Use your outdoor time.
That's awesome. So, how did you get into photography?
So it's kind of a long story. When I've been married for 13 years this month, and
Congrats.
Thank you. It's a long time. The first few years were really hard, but we are, never better. But anyway, so we got married, and then I started I started getting into a little bit of modeling, and at first, to be completely honest, I liked the attention that it gave me.
Sure.
I was 22, and I was like, oh, everyone loves these pictures, and they were more on the scandalous side, quote unquote, you know what I mean? Not bad.
Right.
I was obviously clothed, but they were more implied, and so I got attention, but then I reached out, a photographer reached out to me, and we did something super, like, creepy, and it wasn't along the lines of, like, you wouldn't look at that and be like, wow, she's beautiful. It was like more like intense, and that right there, like that's where I fell in love with modeling. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like that, and people's reactions to that was not like, oh, you look pretty. It was like, oh my gosh, that's intense. Why? Like, why? And then I'm like, yes, that's what I like. So it started with the attention, but then it grew to that. I did some runway modeling in Kansas City. I did it for a few years, and then we moved back here. I think it's about 9 years ago, and I went to a modeling agency up in Denver, and I went in and I was wearing this super cute shirt, and I had just chopped my hair off. My hair's really long blonde, and I just chopped it off because they told me that I looked like every other girl, and I do. I have that look. I have that look of the girl next door. You know, I don't have anything truthfully significant about my features. So I walked in and they told me, they picked me apart head to toe, and I was probably 15 pounds lighter than I am right now. I was like a size 2, 4.
Wow.
And they were like, so do you always carry weight in your stomach? And if you could come back when your hair's longer, we can do more with that. And I was like, so you can never please everyone. So I walked out feeling like down about myself, and I was like, whatever, you know, if my body is already screwed up, then I'm just gonna have kids. So then we had twins. And then so we started to try to have a family.
Oh, wait, let's back up.
I know
that's hard, but okay. So you know, that's one of those kinds of things that I really like to unpack is like this whole idea. For one, I'm concerned, to be honest with you, that you're talking about yourself about not being remarkable or having remarkable features, because you are beautiful. Your eyes are stunning. You have a smile that lights up the room. So there is nothing unremarkable about how you look, okay?
Thank you.
Secondarily, yes, you are sitting across from me here and 15 pounds smaller, and I promise you, if you turn sideways, you disappear. Not that would be a problem, because I think it's equally devastating for women to be picked apart for being too thin, or too heavy, in whomever's judgmental BS opinion. I'd like to kind of talk a little bit more about, and I do want to talk about your kids, and, But I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've definitely noticed the shift in modeling photography and modeling pictures. Like, and I mean, the one that comes to mind for me the most, because I roll up into the Target on the regular, I was in there last night, is just the photographs that we're seeing of, ideal beauty. It's not the whatever it used to be stereotype. And are you noticing that? What are your thoughts on that?
I am noticing that. I think that as women, we tend to body shame ourselves and each other, actually, sadly. You see someone walking down the street and they're a little heavier, and you think, wow, why can't they get to the gym? Or why, as women, we try not to judge each other, but as women we do, and it's hard. And so I like that we're moving towards, making an 8 or a 10 like average, because even that is still really small for a lot of people. And so I don't think that we should compare ourselves to Heidi Klum's, like I said, I don't know what she is, but she's perfect in every way, and super skinny, and that's what I would compare myself to back then. And so it's changed dramatically, which I like, and I find that especially with photography, that people are feeling more empowered with themselves, which is actually why I started the Peak Boudoir. So because it empowers women to feel like you do pictures because you want to feel good, not because you want other people to see how beautiful you look, because you want to look at yourself and feel good about those pictures.
Well, I like how you were talking about once, like when there was pretty pictures, and that's great, but like when there was this fierceness or this interesting quality that you were able to communicate through photography, that's when being the subject of photography, that's when you really the fire was stoked and your interest was really really stoked, and I think that's fantastic. I have a daughter who just graduated from high school. She's going to college this year, and when she took her senior pictures, now, I mean, there's lots of years between. I graduated high school in 1988. We didn't do, you know, the lifestyle photos. But when I'm looking at her senior pictures and my senior pictures, there's so much more personality
in hers.
And you know, and you know, watching her like express herself and what she finds to be beautiful. Like my daughter has the same build I do, you know, like tall, slender, and that's just our natural build. But she works her tail off in the gym, not to lose weight, but to put hips on.
Otherwise she'd be a rail.
Right. You know, to kind of, and that for her, it's about strength, but it's also, I think it's due and owing to a very positive shift in the mindset to, you know, building your best body and to embracing all different types of body styles. You know, especially the one you're given.
Yes, exactly. Because with your body and my body, we will never be a size 0 because of our bones. Like, no matter how skinny we get, we're going to get unhealthy, and that's just not ideal for most people.
I will tell you, I was a size 0 in 5th grade. So there was that moment, but not since I've grown
not
to
anymore,
my not since I've grown to my full height. So I just want to remind everyone, you're listening to KPPF, with a brighter day in the neighborhood today with Mandy Penn. So okay, so you just real quickly, and I want to make sure everyone kind of caught that name of the new business that you've opened.
Oh yeah, so it's actually called Peak Boudoir.
Okay.
I wanted to create a space for women to empower women, especially with what women go through every day. And I wanted to keep it separate from Mandy Penn Photography because I wanted it to be a specialty, and I wanted to create different clients. Also, I am in business with my amazing friend and fellow photographer Kaylee Anadon, and she actually does the hair and makeup. So we take them, our clients, from the very first step to the very last step, and we create like this beautiful book and these gorgeous images that just empowers women. So it's like, it's very fulfilling on my end because I can see women like coming out of their shell, you know, and it's not, you know, a lot of people think of boudoir and they think, oh, that's risque, but it's not. It doesn't have to be, and the way we do it is very classic and very just very real and beautiful. You know what I mean? It's not risque or raunchy at all, which I love, you know. And some people like that, and that's fine. We wouldn't be the best photographers for them, but we just like to capture real, and that's kind of, I mean, that's what we do. So
that sounds really cool. I think I did glamour shots way back in the. Do you remember?
Yep, I did those with my mom.
And this is kind of and I know this is not what you're doing, but that's what it kind of reminds me of. Is like, you know, you go in, you get the hair, then makeup, the jacket, you know. And I had the jacket. It was like a American Stars and Stripes. Flip the collar. I love that the '80s are coming back too, with that glitz and glitter and the big hair, and that's fun stuff. I think that's really cool. Getting back to you, so, you know, I know when you got picked apart that day in Denver, unfortunately, I mean, because you're beautiful, you said that set you off in a different path. And so let's talk a bit more about that path. I mean, because we all come to crossroads.
Right,
Let's talk about the path you decided to take.
Yeah, so I was 25 when that happened. I had been modeling for a few years, and they picked me apart, and I knew that we were going to be here for a while, if not forever, you know, in Colorado. And so I was like, well, and then it was one of the biggest modeling agencies, so I was like, well, if they don't want me, then no one else does. Oh, wow. So you know what, I'm just gonna, I mean, it's been 4 years, so let's try to start having kids. Like, that seems about right. If my body is not perfect anyway, let's just screw it up a little bit more, you know, which is obviously worth it to have kids. I would not trade my kids for anything, but that's immediately where my head went, is like, okay, well, I'm screwed up already, so I'll just mess my body up a little more, but I get kids out of it. So we tried for kids. I had a miscarriage in October of, gosh, all the years just like fly by, of 12, 2012, everything is like a jumble lately. But then we got pregnant a year later exactly, and then we had the twins. So I have a boy and a girl, McKenna and Declan. They're 8 now. But as soon as I had them, I was like, okay, well, that's it. Like, I'm good. I'm a mom, so this is my job. And then I noticed that they grew so fast. And like Declan, I looked at Declan the other day, and he grew an inch in the past 3 months. Kid, and I'm like, this is not okay. So then I was like, okay, well, I can pay all these people to do photography, but if so Caleb bought me a camera, and I was like, I'm just gonna dabble in it. We'll see what happens. And then as soon as I started taking pictures, and I started to like really figure out how to use my camera, not on auto, on manual, and know how to, what light to let in and what settings to use, I just fell in love, and I couldn't get enough. So
are you able then, and I know that and you kind of talked about it, I don't know that we've actually talked about it here, but I think we talked about it a little bit earlier, that the Mandy Penn photography business focuses a lot on family pictures and engagement photos and new baby photos, but you do some business headshots and kind of lifestyle. And that's how I know you, because a really good friend of mine, I think he had some family portraits done. He and his husband had family portraits done with you, and then he recommended you to me for the firm.
Yeah, and that was actually towards the beginning of my photography career. So I actually started charging and like actually taking pictures for other people only about 3.5 years ago. But I am a person that once I have something in my mind, I don't stop and I go full. I mean, I jump in head first. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've gotten really good on many levels because I can't get enough learning, and I'm learning, and I'm constantly educating myself, and I'm not just staying stagnant. And I feel like that's what can get you in trouble with some businesses. And I feel like, I mean, it's so funny because you say that, and I look back at those pictures, and I love them. They're beautiful. But the newer ones I love better because I'm better. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's so funny because you guys look at them and you're like, oh, they're great photos. But I look at them and I'm like, oh, I've grown. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just super cool.
Have you been able to start to sort of capture those images and those feelings that really stoked your fire to get into modeling? Have you been able to do that with your models?
Yeah, so actually, funny story. So I'm going for my master's degree in photography. It's through Professional Photographers of America, and basically it's a big ol', lots of rules and stuff to be in the competition, but you can submit 4 images a year, and they basically have to tell a story, which is exactly what I wanted to do when I was modeling. So I get to create these images. One I actually modeled for myself because I couldn't find anyone to portray exactly what I wanted. So so I modeled, and I'm submitting that, and it's not done yet, but and I can't. What stinks is that because it's a competition piece, I can't show anyone until competition, so I can't say anything. But it's it's nice because I still get to dabble in, the modeling with myself. I don't model for anyone else really, but with models, it's nice because I can bring out a different side in people. Like almost 100% of people are always tell me, well, I'm not photogenic. And I'm like, well, you know why? Because people have told you that, and you think that, so you aren't, but you really are. And so I can help.
People telling you your body's messed up, so what's the point?
But really, that's their opinion. That's fine.
Right.
But if someone tells you something enough, you're going to believe it. You know what I mean?
True.
And I see it with kids a lot. Is parents will be like, well, smile. You're not smiling right. You're not smiling right. And then every session after that, they're like, oh, I'm not smiling. And then they're worried the whole time. And that's what I don't want to happen. I want people to feel comfortable in front of my camera. I want people to feel the emotion. I want them to look at that photo and be like, wow, that was a great day. We had so much fun. Instead of being like, oh man, I didn't like that photographer. She was really weird and rude. And that's just not, it's not my personality, and it's not what I want to portray.
Right. So what kind of things can people do, or do you do, that help people to be more expressive or communicate their personality in their pictures?
So for me, the way I run my business is I actually now with my families and newborns and stuff. Obviously, I can't tell a newborn what to do. They're going to do whatever they want. But
they're
I'm
just so darn cute.
I know, right? Really, they're adorable. I love babies. I get a few next week, so I'm super excited about that. But I do a consultation with people now. So instead of just showing up and being like, okay, what did you want again? Like I take notes and I know names and I know, all the details that they want to capture instead of just assuming that what they want. And so I take people from, step 1 to step 10 instead of skipping some steps and, okay, well, here's your images, have fun. Okay, see you never. You know what I mean? Like, and I enjoy it so much more because I get to know people ahead of time, and so I know their not weaknesses, but their insecurities, and I know how to kind of, and then they trust me. And the person that you work with, no matter it be a lawyer or a photographer or whoever, you want to trust that person. And I feel like that consultation and that initial meeting really does build that trust with my clients.
Right. But. And so, if somebody is trying to, I don't know, just like take better pictures in general, like, or make themselves feel more at ease, coming in front of someone else's camera, what can they do?
So I think of it as like you're gonna. That's a hard question, I guess. So I guess for the most part, when it comes to that, I think that just breathing is a good thing. Like just breathing and like taking a second, because people get really anxious in front of the camera. And so normally I'll be like, okay, shake it out. Like, shake your hands out, take a deep breath, like, and then I'll do it with them so they don't feel silly. And I'll be like, shake your lips out, and we'll do like, and I'll make fun of myself so that they feel more at ease.
Yeah.
And I'm really good at, making people feel comfortable, but definitely taking that breath and just like breathing and being like, it's not the end of the world, it's just a picture. Like, yeah, people can be anxious and that's okay. And, sometimes I can't change that about people, but, I think that the more comfortable you are with who's behind the camera, the better the pictures are going to be.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And, I know like taking multiple pictures too, seems to help.
Yep.
I think there was, at least when I was coming up, it was like the family portrait was like, okay, everybody, and then you put the timer on, and then everybody runs, and you're, dang it, so-and-so was making a face, or, I blinked. That was my big thing. My husband's always like, you blinked. Yeah. And I'm like, why don't you just take one? You can do a burst,
Yeah. Well, now with what we have, I mean, it's not film anymore. I can take 20 pictures of the same thing and, get a good picture.
So do you do anything with actual film?
I don't, not yet. So I haven't ventured into that yet, just because my business has grown so fast. I don't have time. Yeah. And going for my master's degree in photography is a lot of work, and it's something that I am passionate about, so I haven't really looked into film. I think that eventually I will, but it's not something that I'm, that's on my radar yet.
Right. So. When I know you've taken a lot of children's pictures over the course of years, and didn't you have a children's series that went viral?
Yeah. So I'm a humongous Friends fan, Friends TV show, and I decided to do newborns. I always told myself, you're not doing newborns, they're so hard, and now that's all I want to do is newborns. I always thought I would be, a wedding photographer, and I like weddings, they're good, but I enjoy newborns a lot more. And so I did 6 babies. I had a friend who was a huge Friends fan, and she was having twins, and I was like, how fun would it be to have like Rachel and Monica? And then that little seed turned into, hey, I just got 4 more babies, so we're gonna get a couch made and we're gonna put them on a couch. And so right in March of last year, so right before the pandemic hit, I had them all in the studio, and we did all 6 on a couch that was made by Danielle Shunk, who is a local, she's phenomenal, and she made the couch, and it turned out, it's still in my studio, I look at it all the time, but I posted that, and it didn't get much traction with the blog, and then I posted it on Facebook as like an album, and it took off. Like I woke up the next day and there were like 11,000 shares, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I got so freaked out because I was like, no way I went viral, like no way, and then it just kept going. So it was super cool. And it was so surreal, and it's so funny because you're like, oh, that's great, like, I went viral, and it, as great as that is to say I went viral around the world, which seems cool, but as a business owner, I would have loved to gone viral in the Springs, because a lot of people in the Springs don't know about it, because it went so far, so fast, you know what I mean? So fast, yeah. And so, but yeah, it was my friend's shoot, and Good Morning America covered it. I wasn't on, it was just on the website because they weren't doing interviews, obviously, because of COVID. And then I did like a Zoom call with a radio station in Chicago. Fox 21 covered it, and it was so cool. And then it was in like Pop Sugar and Sad Panda and Cafe Mom and stuff like that. So it's super cool to like say that, and I actually got them together again, all 6 babies, a few months ago, and did like a reunion. So
the Friends reunion.
Friends reunion, yep.
Hopefully that won't be the last.
No, I don't think
that. That's awesome. Yeah. So where can people check that out? Like if somebody hears this and wants to like look and and look that up. Yeah, so I did a blog. It's actually on my website, mandypenn.com, and then you go to blog. It says all the best, and you just click on that, and it's in there. So. Oh, super cool. And and I know it's like our pictures of our kids, are really, very, very, very significant. I know mine are, my youngest is 18 and my oldest is 30 now, or will be. We've got the boys' joint birthday party coming up. 20 and 30 next week. But looking back on those pictures, really, it means the world to me. And at the time, I know sometimes it was, in fact, I took when I was pregnant with Will, I took Danny and my husband into a studio to get pictures, and Danny goofed off the entire time. Like there's not a single picture that was like, like all family. But you know what? I love that. I love that whole set of photos, because it was just, I was not really that amused at the time, but it has provided a lot of amusement. So it's always fun for me to be able to look back at those pictures, and I bet you have a lot of parents that feel that way as well. Yeah, and I always tell parents, your kid might not be behaving, but then you'll look back at this and be like, see, you were a stinker in this, and you wouldn't look at the camera, and then it turns out to be something silly, and you can never make a child look at a camera and smile unless they're just in like the best mood ever. And I obviously bring bribery, like toys and stuff, but for the most part, like, kids are going to be kids, and you just have to let them do what they want to do, because to a point, obviously. But especially with this session, I always try to prep parents, like, for the most part, my problem people are not the kids, it's the parents. Really? Yeah, because the parents are so worried about the children that I have to actually tell mom and dad to like, okay, take a breath. How about you look at me? Because I can get him to look at me and smile, but when you guys are looking at him, that also ruins the picture. So it's interesting because parents don't think about that. They're like, oh, he's not behaving if I turn to him and tell him. I'm like, he's more likely to listen to someone who has like bribery, like a toy in my bag, than a parent who they like to not listen to on a regular basis, And you really can too, and always talking like this to little through her teeth. Or when dad, gives the face like, better stop, or no ice cream. Some of those pictures too. Oh yeah, just for fun. And I keep them in there so that people have to look at them too. And I want to see. So this is what happens when you worry about, But no, they're good. Well, it's been a lot of fun chatting with you today and getting to know you better, and just that whole life trajectory and the ways and means, the places that we come from and get to, and do you have any regrets at all about not going forward into the modeling and instead doing the photography at this point? No, I think that I know that you can model at any age, and that's fine, but I find most of my happiness comes from photography, and I'm more happy behind the camera than in front. Like, I like being in front of the camera occasionally, I mean, we have to do our family pictures here soon, but I just like capturing people as they are and providing that for other families, and so I don't regret picking up a camera and quitting modeling, because it really has shown me my passion that I didn't know I had, until I was 30. Like I started taking pictures when I was 30, 31. Yeah. So like, who would have known? So Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a pleasure, and we just want to thank you for coming on. I think if it's okay with you and your business partner, we'll have you back to talk about a little bit more about, and remind me of the name again?
Peak Boudoir.
Peak Boudoir, about why you gals founded that, and sort of the driving force behind that. Until then, it's been another brighter day in the neighborhood. We thank you so much for joining us. We hope you will enjoy the rest of your Sunday and join us next week right here on KPPF. Thank you.